Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Hey, what's going on? So here I wanted to show about a famous Bolling descendant, and this is Mary Ann Randolph Custis, wife of Robert E. Lee, the Confederate general. So as we look at her tree, there's George Washington Parke Custis, Mary Lee Fitzhugh. She was the only child of theirs to survive to adulthood, meaning that's how close the Robert E. Lee had to not getting her as a wife. And so we look at her tree on her George Washington Parke Custis side. She goes to John Parke Custis, Daniel Parke Custis, who married Martha Dandridge. If you didn't already know, Martha Dandridge's second husband was George Washington, the president. So she is indeed a descendant of Martha Dandridge. So we look at that. That's her paternal side. Now let's look at her maternal side. Mary Lee Fitzhugh, Mary Ann Randolph Custis. We go to William Fitzhugh and Anne Randolph. Well, Anne Randolph was a daughter of Peter Randolph of the Randolph family and Lucy Bolling. Lucy Bolling is a daughter of Robert Bolling Jr. or Robert Bolling II and Anne Cock. So that would show who she's related to as far as Bollings go. So yeah, she is a descendant of the Bolling family. You go higher, then you get to Robert Bolling I and Anne Stith. So Mary's third great grandparents would be Robert Bolling I and Anne Stith. And you can, this is all proven because these are her parents. And then Mary Lee Fitzhugh and William Fitzhugh's will, he mentions his son-in-law being George Washington Parke Custis, marrying his daughter, Mary Lee Custis. That's what he names her in her will. And then in Peter Randolph's will, he mentions his wife Lucy Randolph, and then he mentions his daughter Anne Fitzhugh, last name Fitzhugh, so that fits that perfectly right. So the Randolph family, which is what the Bollings married into, was a very popular, prominent family. William Randolph, Elizabeth Beverly. So Peter Randolph was a descendant of William Randolph of Turkey Island and Mary Isham. I'll never know how to say it. These are both my ancestors as well. I descend from the Randolphs as well, just not through Peter Randolph and Lucy Bolling. I descend through Isham Randolph of Dungeness and Jane Rogers. These are my ancestors. I believe these are my sixth great grandparents. Anyway, so yeah, the Bollings married into a lot of prominent families, not just the Randolphs. As you can see, Anne Randolph is a descendant of the Bolling family. She married into the Fitzhughs, which is a very prominent family as well. And then their two, so Robert E. Lee and Mary Randolph Custis had William Henry Fitzhugh Lee, and he married a Bolling as well. His second wife, not his first, his second wife was Mary Tabb Bolling. Mary Tabb Bolling is also a descendant of the same Bollings that Mary Ann Randolph Custis is. So these are not Pocahontas descendants. These are just what you would call white Bollings, meaning Robert Bolling and Anne Stith. So she descends from the Bollings, and she descends from the Bollings. So distant cousins, and so William Henry Fitzhugh Lee and the descendants of Robert E. Lee, they would be descendants of the Bolling family as well, which is kind of cool stuff to know. You don't always find out these connections until you actually look at them in depth. But I hope that was interesting for you to know. I'll keep updating you guys on more connections I see with the Epps family, the Randolphs, and more powerful families that the Bollings married into.